question.
Yeah, so we've just been talking about how as we studied the book of Acts, some of us learned more from our personal study, and some of us learned more than when we showed up in the group. And everyone, to some extent, said, I learned from both. And so what I want to talk about tonight is how to teach and how to accommodate the different learning styles that are out there. So this is going to be my little graph of how people learn. And on this axis right here, on the far left, we got people that learn by doing stuff. And then on this far end of this is people that learn by reflecting on stuff. At the top here, we're going to have people who learn through experiencing things. What do you think would be here at the bottom?
Reading things?
Yeah, thinking in your own head about stuff. Just kind of sitting and thinking, and they learn reading, that kind of stuff. All right, so take a look at that and which quadrant, just think about, don't say it out loud, but just what quadrant would you put yourself in? Like, hey, I am a doing and an experiencing person. I am a doing and thinking person. And while you're doing that, I'm going to kind of go around and describe the people that go in each of these quadrants. So the 4 quadrants represent 4 different kinds of learner. The first one, I'm going to give these a little bit technical names. And this is not original. I stole this from some PhD guys and talk about how to learn. The people up here, they are divergers. Okay? And so divergers are your idea generators. They like to reflect on what's happening and then create more and more and more ideas. And so that's when they really get creative. That's when they really learn. And they really like to think about what they've experienced. That's a diverger. Can be hard to keep them on track, but they're usually very creative. All right. Down here, we've got an assimilator. This is the person that really likes to work with theories. They like to take in a lot of information and then organize it. And they like ideas and concepts more than working with people. And the assimilator can get stuck in his own or her own head forever and never do anything with it. They just love it. Inside their brain, as they're going through all the data, it's like a feast. And they're not too concerned if they ever do anything with it. Over here in this quadrant, we got the Converger. The Converger learns by doing, and they want to solve the problem. Going out there and trying to solve the problem. Let's get this thing fixed. No more talking about it, assimilators and divergers. Let's get this thing done. And it's in the doing and trying to solve the problems that they learn more. And up here, we got the accommodator. Okay. The accommodator, if they have a problem, the first thing they do is go down the hallway to talk to their friend about how to solve the problem. First place they check when they're just going to buy something is in the reviews. And so they typically want to act on their intuition. They don't want to get a lot of information. They want to just be doing stuff all the time. And the Bible kind of values all of these different kinds of learning, right? So in John 8:31 and 32, Jesus says, it says, to the Jews who believed him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you're really my disciples. Then you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So Jesus is saying, look, first you got to go do it and experience it. Then you'll be able to validate that it's the truth. In 2 Timothy 2:7, Paul says, reflect on what I am saying, and the Lord will give you insight into all of this. So you want to know whether it's truth or not? You need to spend some time thinking about it or reflecting on it. And down here, someone quote for me Joshua 1:8. The thinker or the meditator.
Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful.
Good. Thank you, Heidi. Joshua 1:8. Anybody got a good verse for doing?
Matthew 28.
Okay. Go make
He
disciples.
who has my commandments and keeps them, him it is who loves me.
That's John 14:21. And you know that I love James 1:22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Okay. So we got these different learning styles. So now how are we going to teach them? Anybody want to throw out there kind of where they think they are? Which kind of learner are you?
Converger.
You're a converger. You're a doer. Okay.
I'm an accommodator.
Who said that? Aubrey, was that you?
That's me.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Okay, I just heard. I got you guys on the side screen over here. Okay, so you're the accommodator. Okay, you want to go talk to other people and learn that way? Okay, good. That's where I tested out too, Sarah, most recently as an accommodator. In the past, though, I've been an assimilator. So I've tested out in a couple different places. Anybody else?
I'm a converger.
I think I'm an assimilator.
Diverger. I think I spelled that wrong. There we go.
I think you fixed it that time.
Yeah, I got it. Spelling. Try not to do it in public. Lauren, you said you're an assimilator. Yeah. The
Best
assimilator
guess.
would be the one like, I just get me and my Bible and my charts and my slide rule and just give me a cup of coffee and lock me in a room and I'm happy. You know,
Yeah.
that's okay. All right.
I think I'm on the edge of diverger and accommodator, maybe more towards the diverger side.
Okay. A little more towards the diverger. Okay. All right. So I think this is kind of the secret sauce here as my computer processes all the stuff I'm asking it to do. So whenever I teach, I try to at least hit every single person a little bit. All right. And so I kind of go through 5 steps. And this is particularly true when I teach from the pulpit. And the first thing, let's see here. The first step is called the concrete experience. Right here. And this is, some people need to do something, experience something to get going and started. And it's a really good way to start because it creates a need, especially for adults, it creates a need to learn in the adult. But then after they experience something, people need to talk about it. So I call this part publish and process. Let's call it P and P. So you need to respond to the experience and then talk about it. Now I did these 2 steps already tonight on this exercise. How did I do it?
Having us identify where we're at.
A little bit. Yeah. Something more intentional though. What did I rely on as a concrete experience?
2 truths and a lie.
Oh, that's good. We did. That was not part of this block. But remember when I asked you the question?
The study.
Think about the study. How did you learn? And you all had to experience this thing for a year. And I made you think about it. And then I got you talking about it. That's the publishing process part. And so hopefully a little bit in there, I created a need or a curiosity. I want to know more about learning and how to teach. Okay. Then we kind of moved into Well, that box is not what I want. I want that over here. Over here, we moved into new information. And I've been doing that as we've been going along too. How did I do that? This is an easy one.
Tell us about accommodator, diverger,
Yep.
assimilator.
I started teaching and you started drawing this picture. I was giving out new information. Okay, now, if I don't do something soon, to give you guys something to do with this or to think about how to apply it, the convergers and the accommodators are going to be like, this was useless. Tyler's like, I'm about burned out. You better hurry up and get something useful for me here. And so the converger needs to, what I'm going to call develop. They need a chance to be asked a question like, what are you going to do with this? What does this make you want to do? This is kind of the hands portion of head, heart, hands. What do you want to do about this? And so that's coming pretty quick. Have you been in a training where you got everybody all fired up, you give them a bunch of information, and then you say, okay, at your tables, talk about what God's saying to you right now. And that's when we move to develop, giving people a chance to start thinking about what they want to do with it, start solving the problem that was presented. And then up here, we got to get to some kind of practice where we're going to start interacting with people again, which is going to generate a new experience and feed the cycle over again. And so this is up here what I would call practice or apply. So here's what I want to do. We went through concrete experience. We did publishing process. We did some new info. Now I'm just going to ask the question, how is this going to change the way you teach in the future?
I think it provides a solid outline. Just reflecting on not pretty recent experience. I just kind of threw stuff out there, and it definitely helps to order thoughts for sure.
Similarly, I can think back and just like, I usually leave at least one of these off intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it doesn't matter. But that's because of how I'm wired, not how everybody else is wired.
Yeah. Well, and you guys are mature learners too. So you're like, well, Jim, I learned from doing the study and I learned from showing up and I learned from all of these. So over your lifetimes, you've learned to tap into all of these. And there is a time to shorten or even skip a step. I think most of the time in our trainings, I see people, I think either intentionally or unintentionally skip the concrete experience and the publishing process. And people are already there. They're already so eager to learn. You can just kind of start with the new information in a lot of our trainings. But it can be bad if you skip develop and practice, which I've done before. And I'm like, man, I missed it. Because they didn't have enough time to really let it sink in. Okay, here's how we're going to do practice or apply. So develop, you're thinking about how you want to use it. Apply is, I'm going to kind of direct you in a way to use it. Let's take the 7 steps of the 3/3 and let's figure out which of the learning styles that would it appeal to the most. So member care. Which learning style would that most appeal to?
A diverger.
What's the question again?
We're going to go through each of the 7 steps of the 3/3 and think about which learning style most learns from that step. And so Randall said, yeah, diverger for member care. Yeah, and I would say the accommodator too. They need to talk to other people. And so right up in here, we'll put, step one is definitely appealing to these kind of people, catching up with what other people, listening to what other people's going on in their lives. I'm learning from that a lot. How about number 2, accountability?
Converger?
Could be Converger because but probably more diverger because they're reflecting on what they experienced. And they can particularly learn from what other people experienced and whether they obeyed or not. Now the Converger down here, we're going to get him going. Okay. How about worship?
Accommodator.
Accommodator and the diverger. That's going to be up here. That's definitely, wherever it is, that's on the experiencing, connecting piece with God. Put that up here in the middle somewhere. Vision casting.
Sarah's got an answer.
What do you think, Sarah?
I said assimilator and converger.
Yeah, I think so, right? Because if it's done well, the vision there'll be some concept and theory to it, and then there'll be a way for you to imagine doing it. And that's what's going to start motivating people to want to do it. So that's kind of down here on the thinking, right on this kind of border right here. We're getting into this. If it's too theoretical, it'll appeal to the assimilator, but the converger will be like, so what do I do with this, right? And if it's just too nuts and bolts, the assimilator will be like, well, wait a minute, it doesn't work against all my models and theory, so I got to go back and fact check it, All right, how about, this is an easy one. Where's the new lesson go? Right here. The assimilator loves to just spend time staring in the word, thinking about it. What does it say? All right. Then we get over here to practice. Where's that going to go? Well, I guess it's right there on the screen, right? Practice right here. And goal setting. I know it seems a little bit out of order, but really, I mean, the Converger really likes this part. They're motivated by, okay, I got some clear things I'm going out to do. And then a lot of the learning doesn't happen while you're meeting in church doing the 3 thirds. It happens while you're out doing this stuff. And so that's a big part of how people are learning while they're out doing it. And you want to capture that when you come back. How did it go this week? How was your life as you do look back? This is the look back stuff kind of right here. Okay, questions or comments on that? And how to teach and kind of how the 3 thirds is packaged pretty nicely will appeal to most people's learning styles, at least some parts of it.
I'm about to, well, your question was how do we like apply this? Like,
Well, I think we talked about a couple ideas on how to apply it, but just any questions you have at all, how you might apply it, something that didn't make sense, or maybe just thoughts on how you want to apply it. Yeah, tell us how you want to apply it, Fritz. Take us back to.
Well, I was gonna say, so I'm giving I gave a vision cast last week to a group of soldiers who were up here at Camp Natural Bridge training cadets, and then launched them out to share the gospel this upcoming week or this week, and then we're gonna meet on Sunday again. And I probably would have skipped the last steps of like, what are you going to do with this now? I would have gone right to new info and then just kind of like let them go, as opposed to building in that time to say, hey, take take 5 minutes with a battle buddy and see how you're going to shape this into your own, into the following week or whatever, even when I'm not there. So that's pretty helpful.
Cool. Yeah, I skip that stuff a lot. You gotta, and most Western education spends way too much time on the new info. Right? And adults just don't learn well that way. They can only do so much new info before they need to interact about it if they're going to keep it and own it. It's good. Great. All right. Well, praise be to God. Let's stop sharing and stop recording.